Okay, welcome back. Let's start with the next panel. If I can open this. I cannot. Okay, so this panel is called Lifestyle Destinations Become Innovation Hubs. And we have here Javier Garabal, which runs, I would say the only, but I'm not sure if it's the only, venture capital firm in the Canary Islands. He runs it. Archipelago Next, whatever. Archipelago. It's an American English thing, you know. Yeah. And we have Isidro Quintana, who is a successful entrepreneur, now running O games, but who has already sold one company before. We will have the opportunity to go into that a little bit more, and we have Raquel Besares, which is the one funding projects. So in this panel we have innovators, we have entrepreneurs, we have venture capitalists, which is private sector money, and we have public sector money. That's why I think it's a good cocktail. So Javier, let me get the ball rolling with you, if you don't mind.
Don't.
As someone who runs a venture capital firm, how do you see the whole remote work scene in general? And specifically, how do you think it can help both the companies your firm invests in and the Canary Islands as a destination?
Okay, I don't want to repeat most of the stuff that has been said previously, so I'm going to focus on our sector, which is startups. We do mostly digital startups. We've done some others non-digital, but most of what we do is digital startups. And, well, it's true that it was a sector that already did a lot of remote working, but the pandemic has, as usual, accelerated this big time. And for us, it's a real opportunity because now it's only natural that the real fight right now is talent. So startups don't care anymore where do you live. They didn't some years ago, but now even so. And for us, it's an opportunity because as a fund, of course, we are a private VC fund. Our LPs are the biggest companies here in the Canary Islands. And of course, we want, as any VC, make money and invest in companies that then we can sell with a big multiplicator, etc. This is a multiplier, sorry. But we also, and many of my LPs have a strong point about it, we also have a component of, let's call it social. We really want to promote or to grow the digital ecosystem here in the Canary Islands. That's part of my mandate as being the one running the investment analysis. Our clear mandate is we should do something to promote. And we are doing, I don't want to bore you with all what we're doing, but one of the things that we really do, and we're putting a lot of effort into that, is to attract talent here. We don't even want to attract the full company here. It's a long shot. People have lives, and typically a startup has 4 or 5 people married with children, etc. So we don't want the whole company to come to Canary Islands. We would love to, but we have to be realistic. But we do insist on 2 main weapons that have been said here. One is the R&D and tech innovation incentive, which is really an atomic bomb. It's really, we don't know what we have here. I don't want to bore you with details, but at the end of the day, it means that if a developer costs you 100, then you get 36 out of this 100 free money. It's not taxes, even if it's called tax incentive, at the end, it's cash back, to make it short. So for an entity such hungry for capital like a startup, this is amazing. This is amazing. So that's the first weapon that we use. And the second weapon that we use is this lady here, which is, of course, well, the institution. Not you.
That's true.
We
Not
use,
me.
again, it's telling the startup that if they open a R&D or development department here in the Canary Islands, on top of this incentive, on top of our help, there will be also public money supporting them, is a really, and it works. We are about to push the button to start promoting heavily. We have already 36 companies we have invested, most of them in the mainland. And we are already starting to promote that, and really, we believe. We are a bit scared because the bottleneck could be available local talent. So we want to do smoothly, but the good news is that many of those startups are more than happy and willing, and that connects with the topic here, I guess, of moving people here. Yeah. Depending on where you are in your life, I mean, if you are married, children with their schools, etc., maybe it's a big tough, right? But for younger people or for people who, for different segments, coming and living here with working for a startup, you already work, you have exactly the same conditions where remote working is normal already, and having all the advantages that we have it said here about quality of life, security, etc., is a no-brainer.
Yeah, and maybe the segment of people which is more kind of settled in their lives and having children and growing, they are not so young anymore. Canary Islands, maybe it's a very good place to settle and to have a very good life. So you're helping remote workers just by existing, because you are funding companies and you are bringing people.
And we are not forcing, we're using the carrot. No, I mean, it's not a condition for Archipelago to invest in a company to force them to come here, but we, of course, once we invest, we promote, and it's happening already. Raquel knows very well, 2 companies are already creating an R&D department here, and we expect to start pushing this much further.
How much money do you have in your fund right now?
Our fund right now is a 10 million fund, roughly.
And it's backed by the main companies in the Canary Islands, so that's why you are interested in developing the Canary Islands too.
Exactly.
And that means creating local talent or regaining that local talent that went away and bringing in new talent.
We hope our wildest dreams is that the Canary Islands would become something like, well, of course, Madrid and Barcelona is a long shot, but for instance, Valencia has done an amazing job. If you see the quota of successful digital startups from Valencia is disproportionately bigger than their share of the economy. Of course, Madrid and Barcelona.
And you have a big company there,
of course. So instead of one big company, we have 19 right now,
19
reasonably big companies back in the fund. And we keep hearing, we talk a lot we're good friends with the people of Lanzadera. So we say, how you did it? And say, listen, at the beginning it's a tough one, but you need to have a few successful startups, then you need to start attracting talent. These people create startups, they do the next, I'm sure Isidro will tell us a lot about that, they do the next one, right? Yeah. And they hire, and it starts, and some people even call it the tech mafia, in the good sense. And all these people that nurture the ecosystems of Madrid and Barcelona, and we hopefully want to create, it will take time, but our big ambition is to replicate that here.
Great. We will labor a bit on that more, because you are two public institutions. You are a private institution collaborating with a public institution as a lever, because if you invest in a company and if you bring that company to Sodecam, maybe they invest too, or they loan money to that company too, and that's a big lever. That's a kind of an atomic bomb, as you said already. So Isidro, as I said before, you're a well-known and successful entrepreneur who previously created and ran Promineo Studios, which you sold. Maybe you want to tell us your story there. Yeah. But you have established your operations here in Tenerife. How are you related to remote work? Do you have part of your team working from other places now? Because now you run this new company called rePeople Games.
Yeah, in fact, rePeople Games means out of office games. So, as you can imagine, it's fully remotely. So we start remote long time ago. People think it's about the COVID, and it's not. Mm-hmm. So this philosophy came from a long time ago, since, I don't know, 10 years ago, more or less. So I have more than 15 years of experience on audiovisual industry. I started to work with big companies like Disney, Warner Brothers, and American companies on entertainment industry. I had a video game company called Premier Studios, where we get funded by Sodecan as well, and that allowed us to collaborate with this kind of company, big companies, right? And successfully finally sold the company. So that moment I realized that we started to collaborate remotely with these companies in California. So I just spanned because I saw the advantages to work remotely. So when I sold in 2017 the Premier Studios and found a new one, the rePeople Games, I decided to make it full remote with trying to bring the best production tools into the company, and it works perfectly. So I have people now all around the world. Mostly are here in Canary Islands because, of course, we are in Canary Islands and we wanted to help the ecosystem to grow. We believe in the talent. We invest in students in the university, and it's working pretty good. So yeah, basically the point that it breaks everything, it was we started to work with a Danish company that was the company that purchased us. So they were working with us remote all the time. So we just expanded.
Okay. So by having this client, you started going remote before maybe remote was even a thing. So you were doing it for so long that now it's not a trend for you. You've been doing it as a natural thing for your company now.
Yes. So we are more kind of trying to innovate in production tools to increase production and people. People be happy, right, working and see what problems they have working remotely, how we can help them, because now they are pretty happy working remote, and not everybody wants to work remote. Yeah. And also we try also to make some event like in Tenerife. We make a surf event or hiking when we can, and not everybody is going to come from US to do surf with us, but we are trying to do this kind of in-placement, kind of teamwork, to make something like more social.
Yeah. And we were talking before this conversation about innovation and how maybe sometimes innovation happens better when all people is in the same room. How do you handle that in your companies? Because you now ventured into very disruptive technology. You're applying blockchain into games.
Yes.
And you are part of this Oxford thing that you maybe can explain better than me about blockchain. So you have this very disruptive thing going on. How do you manage to foster innovation in a remote environment?
Well, to be honest, I always focus on innovation for a long time. When we started the other company, I started up video game company on mobile devices that now it's something super normal, but it was 2008 when the iPhone came out, so no one understood it. It was like, no, a video game is only for consoles, PlayStation, and things like that.
Now the casual and hyper-casual games are exploding.
Yeah, that's it. So we made that kind of company. So we were in Canary Islands. I was saying that I am an animator, and people think I was in a hotel animating people, you know. So
in the pool.
So, Okay. So that was tough, somehow. But it's in the whole, I think, south of Europe, we have this problem with innovation in the whole part of south of Europe. It's a cultural thing, I think. So now that we are pretty open worldwide, we have a big opportunity to bring this spirit to anywhere. So I think remote points like Canary Islands have huge opportunity to bring big companies that work on innovation, because we have everything. We have talked about it, all the advantages that we have here. So in terms of blockchain that you were talking about, I was pioneer on NFTs that now is super hype, but I was talking on Oxford. I studied at Oxford University blockchain. So
excuse me, you're talking about non-fungible tokens.
No fungible tokens.
Which is for those.
Basically, basically you have property rights about digital things. So that was not possible some time ago. So now that if you are playing a game and you get a sword or something like that, now you have the right of it. So that means that you can sell it. So now there's a virtual economy where you can participate, and there's a huge amount of money and a lot of people who are making a living from games, for example, right? So, and there's a huge innovation around it, not only on games, but a lot of things. So there's a huge opportunity because there's no barriers. I think we are islands, but there's no, you don't go to the beach and you have to swim. No, it's digital. So there's no barrier at all. So it's a huge opportunity for Canary Islands. It's a cultural thing. We have to convince public sector. We have to speak with VCs to really convince them that they have to invest in super high innovative companies here in Canary Islands and bring also in Canary Islands. And we have seen, I have seen big CEOs from innovative companies coming here just for vacation or just to have like 15 days, 1 month to relax, and they realize that they can work remotely and they're pretty happy and they can manage the team from outside. Yeah, so Coinbase CEO was in Fuerteventura 2 months ago, I think. A lot of people like that, you know.
And it reminds me, what you are saying reminds me of, maybe you can chime in whenever you want, okay? It reminds me of the East Coast versus West Coast in the US, when Stanford and all the things started happening in California. It was a valley where there was nothing but nerds. And the big companies were in the East Coast. So moving there was a risky move. There was a lot of grapes and vineyards and stuff, but not technology. So if California managed to do that, we are maybe the California of Europe in terms of these things.
You have to take into account a trend now that California is losing power in terms of innovation hub, because in US, there's so many competitors. Miami, it's pretty big right now. Texas, with Austin, and many of them. And they are just bringing new startups to their ecosystem. So they are fighting in place. And that's something that's happening as well with US investors. US investors not usually invest outside of US. And if you are a European company and you want to get European investor, VCs, you have to have a company in US normally. And now that's changing pretty fast. So investors from US are starting to invest directly on European.
To me, to put it very, very, very simple, is I think nice innovation is about people and capital. Maybe some more, but it's basically these two. Thank God, I think Spain has, as usual, a bit late, but has really catching up. I think the whole VC industry in Spain is still a long way to go, but getting there. The bottleneck right now is talent. And what makes me very optimistic about this is that at the end of the day, if you are a highly talented individual that can choose, I've been told many times that it's not about money anymore, that in Berlin there is this, it was for a long time this, crazy movement. I pay 10K more than the other one, and so it's not, apparently, that's what I heard, this is not that anymore. There's a generation who looks at other things apart from money. And come on, we really need to play a role here, because at the end of the day, if it's part of at least a big segment of people are going to decide where they want to live, I want to believe that a very significant segment will be driven by the values that we have here.
And you've been around, as they say. You've worked in 5 continents, and you know what you're talking about. You've lived in some weird places.
I have personal ties coming back here. I was born here, but even if I wasn't born here, I think I would look this place with a very nice eyes.
Okay. And how about you two? What's the story between the two of you? Because Sodecan has funded Isidro not once but twice.
Yeah.
What is that? Why is that? What's happening there? It's a successful story because you sold your company. Now they invested in you or your company again. Please, can you elaborate on that?
Would you like to start? Do something?
It means that it works. Okay, and first time. He's not bit of us, and we were really proud about him. He did a really good work the first time, and we were very happy when he came the second time, and he's doing really well the second time. I would like to tell them that, well, all of you, that they must approve, his project must approve a very special test for an expert of his sector, and he did it really well. So it means that his project is really, really good, and the results, well, you can see his project is up.
So you have these external evaluators that evaluate the viability and the technology that he has, and he has passed that.
Yeah, he has passed for an expert, not for us. I mean,
and I guess returning the money of the first loan is a big thing too. For
well, he was one of the business, all the best practice was him. So.
Yeah, for us it was really good. As a startup, you have to move fast, even if you are an entrepreneur and you're starting. You jump a lot of things. You don't spend a lot of time doing due diligence, studying the market, because you just want to move fast, sell, right? So they can help us to think in the things that we really have to take care. And sometimes we were tired, like, oh my God, I have to spend like 2 days doing this research and see how we fit on this. But it's necessary, and it's healthy for the company and the startup at the end of the day. So with the first startup, we asked for 2,000 euros, I think, 200,000, sorry. And we get it, and we pay it back.
Yeah, really soon. I think they were the first.
Yes, and now we are with the second. Have to pay it back, so have to do it.
Well, you have enough time. We are.
Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty good, and they are pretty helpful. They are always available, and yeah. Super nice.
It can be done because you've already done it. So it can be done here using the power of Sodecan. And I also wanted to bring to the table that Archipelago Next is a registered investor with Sodecan. So you two are collaborating together and with the same startups. So you are putting your private money, and maybe Sodecan is also putting its public money on the same companies. Tell us about this relationship. Do you want to do more of that? I don't think that's very common in all places in the world, that these kind of institutions work together so well. So I consider it
well, as I said, one of our main weapons to convince our startups to come here is Sodecan. So is a fundamental piece that we collaborate, and I think I think it's a win-win relationship, because I believe that we bring good projects, or at least we have analyzed them, we believe they are good, then time will tell, but we believe good projects, serious ones, where we have invested our money, so I think that probably is also a guarantee for Sodecan.
We have the same philosophy. Yes, we are worried about the development of the Canary Island, the three of us. We could work in other place or do another thing, but we are here because we live in Canary Islands, and because we want to live here because this is the best place to live. So we think the same.
Okay, as the British says, arguably
it's the best place
in the world. The best place to live in the world. Arguably,
a lot of Brits come here, so arguably it's the best place. Yeah, we have some questions coming in from the public.
Yes. First of all, is there any plan how to improve the local talent in digital skills? And also, if there is, how do you want to show this also to the companies outside of Tenerife, so they are aware that there is, like, we are really working on this strategy?
Yes, from our part, remember, we are just an actor on the whole ecosystem. We are doing again, our model a bit is what they have done in Valencia, and they have three fundamental pieces. They have a business school, Eden. Mm-hmm. They have an incubator or accelerator, Lanzadera, and they have a VC fund called Angels. We aspire, well, of course, we're not going to start a business school, but we are already in partnership with a few of them to create that talent, because then the virtuous circle starts, because then you have the talent that only enters that school because they want to be digital entrepreneurs, then they are the best candidate to start and be incubated and accelerated, etc. And then hopefully many of them, they will go to the next phase and be invested. We are humbly trying to replicate that. It takes time. We know it takes time. But at the end of the day, I think that the money part, we will wish there will be more private business angels. I think that's the thing that we are missing here. But a few more VC funds like us, but it's about starting. And then the big part that we collectively think about, we should think more, is to really making a quantum leap in terms of how we develop digital talent of all, not only CTOs, but also CMOs, CSOs, etc. And also we are humbly, with our means, trying to promote this type of education.
Another question. In the remote world, salaries should depend on the cost of life where these professionals are working, living. Imagine giving one salary to one of your employees.
No, that's a good thing about remote work.
It's a very good question.
No.
I think if you want to compete all around the world, and I want to have like a blockchain developer, it's super expensive to have it.
Yeah.
And you have to pay the salary. I mean, it doesn't matter if he's on UK or London. And with the same money here, he's the king. I mean,
it's a global market now. So it's a global market, it's a global competition. That's the good or bad thing, depending.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yes, and that's super healthy for Canary Islands, because what you are doing is increasing wages, and those people are spending money here and making everything grow, right?
The startups are coming here are keeping exactly the same salary as somebody who is in Madrid or Barcelona, and they are using this also as another argument to come here, not only the sunshine, etc., but also, hey, you're going to make exactly the same money, but your cost of living is going to be dramatically. And for the company, remember that this person will be 36% cheaper. Don't forget that the company, thanks to our R&D incentive, if you pay 100, the same 100, then this will be 36% cheaper. So it's a win-win for everybody, for the company, I think also for the worker.
Let me just chime in and say, have you been to San Francisco? I haven't. I haven't. But I know people from companies like Google working there, and they can barely make it to live in San Francisco. So you have to make a lot of money just to be a citizen there. So that's the big advantage here. You can make handsome money, but still don't have that humongous cost of living that they have there. Isidro, maybe the one.
Yeah. I was in.
Sorry.
Yeah, in San Francisco, and I mean, a small room, it's $5,000. So. I mean, $5,000 here, it's the best hotel.
You have a palace.
Yeah.
That already answers our next question, which is focusing on why the Canaries and not Silicon Valley. I think we already talked about this, the package costs and a lot of other benefits that we have. So then the last question, because we are running out of time. Do you think that the government would like to invest in NFTs when they have no control over the finance, not like ordinary currencies?
Yeah, so we are, Luca is going to speak now about blockchain and things like that. We are, as a team, people who are on the blockchain side of things, that we see further. We are trying to speak with the government. I personally am talking with Cabildo of Tenerife, trying to advise them what's happening next, because there's some countries like El Salvador who's doing things, Miami mayor are doing things in this thing, trying just to give a new perspective to them and just open mind that the world is changing, the financial world, we are now in really in a new world that it's changing super fast. It's like when the central banks were created. So I think we are in that moment. I think Luca could
I think you guys are even disrupting our business in a good way.
I don't know.
No, we're talking about that. I think
you can invest in his company.
No, we are talking at least. No, but one of the problems of the VCs is that we have windows of liquidity that are, part every 1 or 2 years when there is a round. I think part of what this technology is doing that it can tokenize and give liquidity to even this.
So to finalize, El Salvador, it's mining Bitcoin with the free energy of the volcano and give some of that money to the citizens.
Great.
So that's super nice, okay? It's like founding a gold mine here in Canary Islands and you share that with the people, right? We can do the same, but there's only people in the government who have the mind to do that. So it's
Open mind.
Politically speaking, El Salvador is a questionable.
yes, I know.
Why don't
Do it right.
we talk about blockchain?
Do you want
Not
to
crypto.
finish with something,
Yeah, blockchain.
Raquel? Because they are shutting us down because we are running out of time.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.